Doc, please, there's got to be something you can do to help me. All I can do now that I've beaten High Lord Cruel is think about going back to High Lord Cruel. Every time I see the Mage Tower up, all I want to do is the tank challenge, but I can't. You got to help me, Doc. Don't walk away from me. I need your help. Hey, what's up, everybody? Eternal Fire here, and today we're going to be talking about the gear and the talents and some of the just general strategies I used for High Lord Cruel. So first off, the talent build I went with was Stormbolt for the interrupt on the Drain Life, Impending Victory, which was, helpful just to get more heals on yourself. These other two are useless. Avatar, I went with Avatar because I found the first phase, the way I played it, was very bursty. So, I basically waited for the ads to come up. For the most part, sometimes I would get on the Inquisitor a few seconds before the ads actually came out, but I would basically just wait for Battle Cry and Demoralizing Shout to be back up, and then I'd go back in the Inquisitor and just, really burst hard DPS in sections. So it wouldn't be like this constant back and forth. There were times when I wouldn't go to the Inquisitor right away, and I'd kind of go from an eye to an eye, and then once the ads were up, the nether guys, I would go back onto the Inquisitor. And it was really nice because about every other time that you do that or so, you're going to have Avatar up. So it's just a really nice addition to your planned burst. A lot of other people go with the Renewed Fury for the general overall 10% damage increase, which is fine too. But that's just not what I used. I used Bounding Stride for sure. You want as much mobility as you can in this fight. I went with Devastator. Booming Voice for the DPS, and the Rage regen was really nice. Sometimes you needed that emergency Ignore Pain, so you could pop that and get it. And then Anger Management for the DPS cooldown, and also it's insanely powerful to have your Shield Wall, Last Stand, and Demoralizing Shout up even quicker. So I wouldn't recommend Heavy Repercussions because that buffs your shield block uptime, and there's really not too much physical damage at the end of the day, except for in the second phase. But most of your wipes, like every other guide says, the majority of your wipes are going to be in the first phase, which is almost all magical damage. So Anger Management is definitely the recommended talent here. So let's look at the gear that I used. The gear that I used was 908. This is all either Mythic Plus or Heroic Nighthold gear. I'm not a Mythic Raider. The time when I got the kill, I actually was using the Animated Exoskeleton and the Infernal Contract, which I know is highly debated trinket. The reason I went with these two was for the purpose of Cruel's Annihilate in the second phase. Basically, I wanted to be able to couple shield block because Cruel's Annihilate is a physical attack, so you want to, at the very minimum, always make sure that you have shield block available to use for your Annihilate. You never want to get hit by an Annihilate with no mitigation up. You always want to have at least a shield block, and if you don't have anything up after the first Annihilate anyway, when you get hit by the second or third, you're going to just get one shot. So you want to have shield block. If shield block, say, is down for some reason and it's on cooldown and you don't have it up, you want to make sure that you're saving Neltharian's Fury. This is a hugely important thing, and Neltharian's Fury is going to make one of the Annihilates at least much more tolerable. After, I would say, the second Annihilate, you want to make sure that you have your big cooldowns available, either a Last Stand, Shield Wall. So you're going to want to make sure Shield Block is up with Ignore Pains. I was popping as many Ignore Pains as I could. And on the last one, I used Ignore Pain, Shield Block, and Shield Wall. And then the first one, I think I just did Shield Block. The second Annihilate, I used Shield Block, Ignore Pain, Demoralizing Shout. And then the next one, because I had the ads come in, so I used the Thunder God's Vigor, which reduces the cooldown on Demoralizing Shout. With Anger Management, I had Demoralizing Shout up again for the next Annihilate. So I used Shield Block, Ignore Pain, Shield Wall. I used everything, so I barely got hit by it. Unfortunately, I don't have footage of the kill, so we're just going to be talking about it. But yeah, these are the trinkets that I used because I wanted to couple them with those Annihilates just to help mitigate more damage, because let's face it, 4.2 million damage prevented, that's really huge. And yeah, you're going to take more damage after that, but if the Annihilate is over, you're not in much danger of taking damage. Another thing I really want to mention for phase 2 is spell reflect. As warriors, we want to spell reflect the twisting reflection that Cruel casts, and that'll cast, obviously you'll reflect the spell back on him, so you're going to heal yourself like crazy when you do damage to anything. One thing to keep in mind, one of the things I struggled with the most in that phase, the second phase, was Cruel's smash, the big green circle on the ground, because that thing just hurts you so much. So what you can do is you use spell reflect, right, to get the first spell reflect the first twisted reflection. Okay, and then you have a 25-second cooldown on spell reflect. Well, he won't cast twisted reflection for at least another minute, meaning that you can use spell reflect one time in the middle of that. So as soon as spell reflect comes off of cooldown, what you can do, and you want to make sure that you're not going to overlap, so he does twisted reflection again. So you basically have like a 10-second window to use it again, and I did. What happened is he did a smash, the big green crap on the ground, which is all magic damage but will eat you alive. I popped spell reflect in between the twisted reflection to mitigate the damage until I was able to get out of the smash. Otherwise, what you want to do is you're going to spell reflect the twisted reflection, heroic leap out of smash. You can also intercept the NPCs if they're close by, be like Prophet Valen. So heroic leap on the next smash, spell reflect, and then you should have heroic leap up again, especially if you're taking bounding stride. So that was kind of the strategy that I had, and it worked really well. So those are the kind of things when you're doing this challenge that you really need to plan out ahead of time. Obviously, we all know there's so many people on the forum saying it's undoable, it's for Mythic Raiders only. Well, it's not. There are people with a lower item level than me that have finished it before I did. It took me like a month to do this, and I was just really sad that I didn't get the footage, but I had like literally gotten out of work that morning, and I had worked the whole time the Mage Tower was up. So I got out of work in the morning, and then I got it in 7 attempts. So it's kind of interesting how that works. One thing I really want to urge you to do, okay, is basically you have to be super careful not to overdo it, okay? So this is the kind of thing that it's like mentally exhausting. So when you exhaust yourself to that extent, like I would have, say the first 10, 15 attempts, I'd have like really good progress, in one sitting, right? Really good progress. And then after that, I would get like stuck on the first phase again, which is a huge problem. You don't want to get stuck there. And then I would just waste, tons of nether shards just wiping in the first phase, because at that point, my brain was kind of like zoned out, right? So I would just urge you to take breaks, take breaks, go do something else, walk away from the game for a few minutes, come back, try it again. But I found that I never really progressed if I had played too long and was kind of fried. Because as I said, like when I got out of work that morning, I came and sat down to play before I went to sleep. I just wanted to try to get a few attempts in before I had to go to bed, because that was the only time I was going to have on the Mage Tower, that rotation of the Mage Tower. And I ended up getting it on the 7th try, which was just, absolutely insane. I never saw that coming, especially since I was tired. But that's one of the things I recommend. So that is what I use for gear. I only had 29% haste, 30% mastery. I did have pretty high versatility. I was at 14% at the time, and then crit was what it was. But yeah, those are the trinkets I used. For legendaries, I used Manaroth's Bloodletting Manacles, and I used Thunder God's Vigor. I tried a bunch of different other trinkets and legendaries, and I'm definitely not saying this is the only way you can go. You can certainly do it without, but this is what I got the kill with. I just wanted the survival trinkets, and that's what I was testing at that point. I've used the Ethereal Urn. I used Memento of Anger Boda. I went with Orb of Torment, Fang of Tichondrius, which I see a lot of people do in their videos. I really just tried a bunch of different other things. I went with a haste build. Let's see, I went with the Fel Oiled Infernal Machine, which is a on-use haste buff. And then I coupled that with the Alchemy Trinket, which gives you insane strength, and then Sephuzes. So I went with this like increased strength haste build that basically would like make you like nuke stuff for a very short burst window. So that's the kind of thing you have to play with. I didn't not like that, but that's just not what I got the kill with. I really did move gear around quite a bit and try different things. So I hope this video was helpful, guys. I'm sorry I didn't have footage. Unfortunately, sometimes when I'm doing stuff that intense, my CPU will throttle down and then the footage just looks as crappy as it could possibly ever imagine. One thing to take note, if you're actually still watching this video, I thank you very much, and I will be getting a new computer within the month. So we're going to be making better content, better graphics, better frame rates. I'm really excited about it. I hope you are too. And if you're still watching this video, you probably subscribed or you actually like my content, which is something that I really appreciate. So if you did like this video, leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.